Welcome back to another episode of the Shit Show. This is a big one. The man himself is here, the Big Bear, the height supremacist. Owen Benjamin is here with us today, and I cannot express how happy I am that he is here. Outstanding. Outstanding. All right. I have to apologize to everybody because I even put a post out saying that we were putting this off. I guess the wires got crossed. He just wanted to move the time and not the day. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that on me.
No, I apologize. I did say I don't know why I said Thursday, but I was thinking it was today the whole day. But I don't know. I was deep in the wilderness moving stones, being a retard.
Yeah, we were talking just before. I was doing the exact same thing at the exact same time as you were, toil maxing in the woods. Before we start every show, we always say a quick prayer, and I had almost forgot it the last time, so just give me 1 second. Lord, guide my words tonight. Help us do your will now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Drew, say hi real quick.
What's up, world? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let's get this shit show started.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. All right. So, you know, I wanted to definitely push the book a little bit. How to Slay a Wizard, Owen
Oh,
Benjamin. I read this and I listened to it. I have to say, listening to it allows me to get more stuff done because I
Yeah,
have very few time, very much limited on time about what I can and can't do. But there's some real insight in there. I've pushed the a couple of the quotes a few times. How is that book doing now? It's a bestseller? Is it doing good on
yeah.
Amazon?
One in rhetoric and another category. Yeah, it's especially after doing Tucker. Doing Tucker boosted it up a lot. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it's doing really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which is very surreal for me to know that you were just on Tucker and Sneeko's podcast, and now you're here with us. Very, very, very surreal for us right now.
indeed, indeed.
I
So,
think just as a white supremacist, I don't really see any. It's funny. Maybe it's just giants or something, but I don't see any difference at all. Like people, like literally, I'm just like, oh, more dudes. Let's hang. You know.
appreciate that about you. I really do. If since you're talking about height supremacy, I'm 6'4", 6'5". Do you think that's giant scale, or is that below giant scale?
No, that's solid. I just get really freaked out by dudes that are like 5'6" and under, especially white dudes, especially a lot of Jays too. But they just get sneaky, and I've tried to not think that way because a lot of like little black dudes can be springy and kind of they be clowning, and so they just don't get as diabolical. But a lot of the little Jays, they get really sneaky, especially when you're big. They try to be your best friend, then you know, they start trying to pinch you and throw rocks at you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a really funny running joke. But when you actually think about it, like the story of Goliath, the Jack and the Beanstalk, as you often
Jack
speak
the
about.
Beanstalk is the craziest story. They broke and entered into this giant's home. They stole his property and then they murdered him, and he was still the bad guy. Like he didn't do anything to anybody. Jack was a thief and a murderer. He's a little piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, when you look at it through that perspective, it's like, holy shit. Like, how many people you think actually looked at it that way? I can guarantee you
Nobody.
none.
No, because they dehumanized giants. It was Tucker Carlson had this priest on recently, this Orthodox priest recently, and I really appreciated how he kept saying that Nephilim doesn't just mean tall, because I'm friends with the Nephilim Death Squad guys, and they're small, and to me that's like the N
Brown.
word giants. Like Nephilim is like a fallen demon, psycho, and I know they're always looking at anybody over 6'4", like we're all Nephilims, and this one priest was like, yeah, no, it's not just tall people, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, I tend to agree. The guys from NDS love those dudes.
They're
David came
awesome,
on.
dude. They're
They,
awesome dudes.
they really are. They really are. And like I'm not the kind of person that can actually like jump on just because somebody says a thing and be like, "Those are my dudes." It's like they just seem like legit dudes, just sort of like yourself. It's like
They
I can
are
kind of tell.
legit dudes, man. They don't break under pressure. They're awesome to hang out with. They're just. I got nothing bad to say about those dudes. I kind of want to go out to Florida and do an in person one with them. I like doing in person stuff.
Are you going back for the shows they do, Bro Grove? Are you gonna? Do you have any invites to go back there?
I'm not doing a Bro Grove this year. I mean, I am a high maintenance guest because they would shut down any theater, you know. So I understand me not doing it this year. I did it last year, and they got in a fight with like the city because they were saying I was filled with too much hate, you know.
Right. Leesburg, right?
Yeah, I was a 5'4" Jewish guy.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think like as you have said in the past, it all kind of works out. Like getting thrown out of hell is not
Yeah,
necessarily the worst thing.
exactly, dude. It's
um,
exactly it.
I oh, you know what? Hold on, I have somebody I want to introduce you to.
Cool.
And who we got there?
What up?
Hey, I hope.
That's
Hello.
Hopi. What do you want to say, Hopi?
Mommy,
You say thank you for helping me.
thank you for helping me.
This is Hope. Back in the day, you shared a link when she was born about helping with the cost of getting her heart fixed. So I wanted to make sure she come down and said hi.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad you're healthy. I'm so glad you're here. How you
Okay.
doing, Hope?
Are you okay? Can you hear him?
I hope.
She's being
It's a
really
great
shy.
name.
Yeah, that's why I had to pick the name. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Okay.
Hope.
Bye.
Good job. Go back up with mommy, okay? Uh, yeah, that was something I wanted to definitely address. Is that thank you, dude, for real. I mean, for guys like me, when somebody like you is willing to offer some assistance at that scale, it means a lot. It really does. I want you to know that. I know I've thanked you in the past, but since we're doing this today, I want you to know that it's a big deal, even if it isn't for you, like in the moment. It is. It's a big deal. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. My pleasure.
That's the other reason too. I mean, David from NDS was a big help at that point too, because it's kind of like one of those things where you're kind of like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, and she was born during COVID, and that was mass hysteria that was happening. So, um, along with all that other outside stressors from everything, it was a wild time. So just to see somebody want to help and step up and say, "Here's a link," like
Yeah, and I can
it's a
tell it's authentic. I just over the years, I can usually get a good sense for that kind of stuff, and that's what community is all about. I mean, that's the whole deal. And so
well, I
that's good. That's like if there's a noble cause, that was it. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, if anybody in the chat has any questions that are worth asking him, Rumble ran it, and I will look over them and see if there's anything worth actually mentioning. Doc Shelley in the chat. Hi, Doc. Um, okay, so I was gonna bring up a thing, and now I'm totally off subject. Um, how's the uh, how's the place going that you're working on? Is it Ursa Rio?
Yeah, man. My family came up to visit today, and I'm just building this stairway in the middle of the wilderness. It's borderline autistic, but it's just buckets of stones, and I'm just making a stairway, and it's just like they were so pumped. It was awesome seeing it through the eyes of four little kids, you know.
Yeah, I can relate, man. I bought some land and it was raw, like, trees, woods, and it
Yeah.
was thick too. And since they've all been born, just developing it along with them, there's something special there that, I don't know that anybody actually understands what that's like when you're working with them and they have ideas and they throw them at you and
Oh,
you,
they're the
it,
best.
it is it's memory building on a level that like you can't copy that. So I'm right there with you though, dude. Like, grow your own food, try to become self-sufficient in some way, remove yourself from this system as much as you can, where you can, how you can. I'm right there with you. I preach it constantly. Um,
Yeah, and that pain of toiling is what life is all about. It's like, because sometimes people are like, yeah, deer ate all my vegetables. And I'm like, yeah, you get a good weep out of that. You know, you feel that pain. Like, I'm into it. You know,
yeah,
it's the sweating, the toiling, the failure that's like how you feel peace as a human being. You know, it's like, I think a lot of the madness in the world is people are just so mental and detached from real life, and the failure isn't even failure. It's just like the best.
just had a couple birds get taken by something, and it enraged me. But I wrote it off as like, what are you gonna do right now? But I understand it too, and there's something to be said about working with your hands and developing the land. Everybody wants to hit the gym, and I understand, the physique to try to get strong and everything. But dude, I'm 46 now, and I'm strong as hell just from constantly working. So I mean, there's the upside to that is too. And I had Crow on. I don't know if you know, but
Yeah,
Crow
great.
came. Yeah, Crow's the man. But his tagline with "There is no lie in nature." I
Yeah.
see that now more than any other time I could ever possibly see it when you're in it. That's it right there. Like, like you got to build defenses strong, keep the predators at bay. Like, this is all lessons that you can take into everything.
Yeah, there's
Um,
no manipulation. It's like that book that you were showing, the How to Slay a Wizard. A wizard can't function in reality. That's why Jesus was a carpenter. You know, it's like the carpenter is the actual mathematician. It's because it reaches it's reality. Like you can't use spells to change like how you're framing a house. You know.
Yeah.
right, right. You know what?
I
That's a
just
good
want
thing.
I just
Go
want to
ahead.
say
Go ahead, Drew.
something. I am very excited to remove myself from the city way of living and get more in tune with nature and being on land, and even starting from scratch. Maybe not having like the most newest modern house with the new modern bathroom, but building something like you guys are saying with your hands and developing it yourself, building it to the, even the failing and like, all right, now I got to fix the roof, or I have to do this, or this didn't come out right. I'm actually looking forward to that toiling, as you said. So yeah, I'm over here like chomping at the bit as I'm hearing you guys go on.
Yeah, and simple is cool, man. You don't need a big setup, or a lot of people think that they have to go so big right away, and it's just like a little tiny patch of garden, like in your windowsill, like
Yeah,
because it'll either grow or it doesn't, and it's all on you, and you just keep going.
The lessons learned, I think, that are the most important part, right? Like, success is always good, but it's the lessons that are learned that you'd never be able to learn any other way that I find the most valuable. Just trying a thing, realizing it doesn't work, or that you have to fine tune it, and then, you can go ahead. And the most important part for me is passing that knowledge down to the kids. So that, because, look, I grew up in Pittsburgh, I grew up in the city. Like, we didn't do
Yeah, I
any
can
of
tell
that.
by the accent. Yeah, the Yinzer accent.
Yeah. But I can't even go there without being like, why did I like it here? Like when I have to go there now, because we're about an hour away, and it's like night and day difference. Once you drive a half an hour outside the city, night and day difference. The people are different, the atmosphere is different, obviously. And then like but when I have to go back from time to time, I'm like, I hate this place. I don't know why I hate it, but I just hate it. It sucks. There's it's like a low level vibrational place where like as soon as you get into it, it's like, ugh, I just want to leave so bad. Um,
When
I
I
want to share. Go
know
ahead.
where the
Go ahead.
improv is there.
The what?
The improv, when I used to do Pittsburgh, and I was on a sitcom, Sullivan and Son was set in Pittsburgh, so we used to, we've done the terrible, we've started the terrible towel twirl and all that because it was like
Yeah.
a Pittsburgh show. But the improv was in like the ghetto, and so whenever you do a week at a comedy club, you're just at whatever neighborhood that club is in, and I don't know what the name of that mall is, but it was like apocalyptic, but it was funny. It was a funny area to be. It
Think
was
they
those big
moved.
stacks. There was like
Yeah.
these stacks. I remember that. I think it was like like a ode to Carnegie or something, but that was where it was, and it was like, it was rough.
So I think you might be talking about the south side of Pittsburgh, which it's rough over there. It really is. Just real quick, just they I worked on this building, and there was a half a dozen of them. It's like 4,000 units because I'm an electrician. So
Oh,
we
sweet. That's awesome.
it's very valuable skill. I
Yeah.
don't think they can replace it with AI. I'll just say that.
No.
Uh, So, I mean, but we were working on these places and they built it on the north side of Pittsburgh, which is probably worse than the south side of Pittsburgh. And I'm trying to tell the people that are there that like this is a dangerous place. You just don't know the like you can see the bums tents right outside. And they build a walk path for all these girls that are wearing almost nothing. And I'm like, you put the prey right in front of the predators. It's only a matter of time. Like, I don't know what is wrong with you people, but like, you built this really nice place in this terrible place, and something's going to happen. And it did. Eventually, it did. I mean, while we were there, I was like, I tried to tell you guys, it's get out of the cities, dude. This place is terrible. They can shine the turd all they want, but it's not going to help anything.
It's
Um,
only going to get worse. I mean, that's when people are talking about, oh, an American city could get nuked. And you know how I feel about nukes. I don't even think they're real. But if they were, I'm like, it wouldn't even change anything. Like, most American cities are a disaster at this point. Like, Detroit got the real N bomb.
yeah. Yeah. That's actually crazy what happened in Detroit. I seen pictures. It's like they leveled blocks of houses. It's all just like overgrown. The houses aren't even there anymore. They can't give them away.
Dude,
The
they were
city's
selling
trying
for
to.
3 grand. I shot a movie there for like 2 months. There was a high rise that was on fire for days, like days. There was no firefighters. It was like they were selling houses for 3 grand, and no one even wanted to buy them because then you'd be like responsible for all the toxic waste and shit or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows what else really? I mean, there's no. I've said it before. There's no way you couldn't pay me enough or give me a place to go live in a city again after seeing the difference. It's just no way.
Exactly.
No way. But
Exactly.
you know, the one of the perks of my job is that this is where you see this excess. And I just wanted to share this with you because it's just popped in my head. But the reason I was able to do what I did is not because I have a bunch of money. There were resources available that they were literally throwing away. So like these giant buildings that I'm talking about they're building, they do that everywhere and they throw away everything that's not used. And I'm talking about brand new stuff, brand new pieces of everything you can imagine, everything from lumber to drywall, paint, everything. That's how I got my building on my property. Like 99% of the material I used on the property was stuff that was going to get thrown away. And it's amazing to me when I think back on it because I'm like, it is crazy that like you could build houses with what they throw in the dumpster. That's the other
Exactly.
thing, like there's such a big difference in so many different places as you go around the country. It's like little pockets of nonsense. You know what I mean? And until you get out of it, you don't really realize how much nonsense it is. It's like, and there were people their pride level so high that they didn't want to take something that would have been thrown away. It wasn't even in the dumpster. They were just going to throw it into the dumpster and they wouldn't take it. I don't know. I just thought I would share that with you because I literally built an entire building off of that. I
Little
milled some
kid,
of my own lumber.
I used to dumpster dive.
I'm
Like
not a
literally, no, like for nickels for cans. Like the kids I went to school with, like in middle school and high school, and see, it got even into high school, which is crazy. They'd be like at the harbor with their boats, and I would just be going through the garbage like with giant bags of cans. I couldn't believe they were throwing away nickels. I'm like, you guys are nuts. And yeah, I saved all that up, and there's so much stuff that people can if they didn't have the pride that it's right there for the taking, and it's not even like, it's just someone else's garbage.
not to drone on about it too much because what we only have you for a short time, but just another prime example of this is that like we work obviously with copper wire. There are a massive amount of guys that will not take it and scrap it because they think it's beneath them.
Oh,
Thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. Oh, and you got to see on my property, Drew's actually seen it before. I have a mountain of scrap copper
I
that
love.
like I know, right? That's a real. I'm telling you, it's a real white thing. The copper thing. It's legit. But I mean, like they would throw it. They would. It's beneath them if they think that it's supposed to be garbage. It's not in a garbage can. It's not in a garbage bag. It's just not being used and going to be tossed out. And they just will not do it. I'm like, "Pff, I'll take it. They're like, yeah, but you won't get anything. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Give me, because thousands and thousands of dollars worth of scrap copper. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, I'll take it. Um, but while we have you, I wanted to try to get you because the book is something special. And if you guys have not had a chance to get this or read this, Audible or in book form, go on Amazon and get it. When we're done here, I'll put a link in the comments of the videos to this on Amazon. Now, I'm saying that because Drew has heard me talk about you before in some way, shape, or form. We gets brought up in conversation, and I think it would be a good thing for him if you could explain what spells are, because I've tried and I probably don't do it much justice. But do you think you could explain or give an example of like how a spell would work?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, a real simple way to understand it is just like if you ever took a class in marketing, that those are spells. You know, it's the best a man can get. Eat fresh, obey your thirst. Once you pop, you can't stop. Like all those things are a form of spells because it's a manipulation. And I did a whole part in that book about how basically the biggest taglines and slogans for these companies are all appealing to a demonic uh, part of people that they don't like. Just think about it. Obey your thirst. You know, it's like once you pop, you can't stop. The best a man can get. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Eat fresh. You know, Subway, eat fresh. And the guy was a pedophile. You know, it's like just do it. Like just do it was the last words said by a serial killer in the electric chair, and that's how Nike got that. Like there's a guy being killed, a serial killer, and they were about to flip on the electric chair, and he goes, "Just do it," and they were like, "Oh right," and then you have that little symbol, and that's like the sigil is the logo. You charge up the emotions with it, you know, kind of like how someone in India could see a swastika, or like a Jewish, you know, dude in a sewer in Brooklyn, right, sees a swastika, and they have vastly different emotions because it's been charged in their mind with all these other images. And so that's just the real pedestrian way of looking at it, just a simple way of looking at a spell. But when you look at social engineering, like a perfect example is cis, right? Like they created a word that was to demoralize and dehumanize normal people. Like cisgendered was like a derogatory word. It didn't stick, it didn't catch, but it was a derogatory thing for normal people, and or like safe and effective. You heard that during COVID, just over and over and over. Safe and effective, safe and effective. And the spells that are really effective have an element of truth to it. You just would never think that way. Like safe for who, effective at what. You know, those assumptions are ways to really mess with people's heads because they're safe for the people giving them to you, or they're effective at population reduction, you know, and so that's kind of like the world of spells. Like if you watch those old Disney cartoons with you know, wizards and spells and enchantments and all that, it's all totally real. They just put it in a hyperbolic way for kids. But you know, if you look at Black's Law's Dictionary or any of this stuff like that, it's just spell books. And if you look at what spells are, like spelling, grammar comes from grimoire. It's a book of spells. You know, cursive, curse. You know, if you look at like when you say, I have to earn a living in the days of the week for my weekend. You know, earn is where you put dead people. It's like ashes. You earn your living, and then your weekend, WEAK, like week, your weekend,
Yeah.
days of the week, DAZE of the WEAK. So when you have these, and you talked about Crow earlier, he says sounds like, is like, where, you know, profit and profit, do anything for the profits. It's like you just you spell it differently, so you think it's different, but it's actually has these very strange effects on your mind. Where a sentence, you give a sentence to a prisoner, like you have to serve your sentence, but yet you spell with cursive in a sentence, and so. And I think it's all good news because it shows that we have free will and we do have dominion in this realm. And so, any slave driver, any nefarious character needs you to choose it because they can't really do anything to us without our choice. And that's the good news of it. But they have an elaborate system of getting people to verbally consent to these horrific things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like as soon as you said manipulation, and manipulation in a way where it almost plays on the human subconscious, like you don't really know it unless you know it. So it's a way to get you to manipulate you without you even realize you're being manipulated.
Yeah, Magic Johnson got AIDS, right? He has Magical Johnson.
Yeah, and
right?
survived.
Like Wizard Penis. Yeah, or the other guy was Greg Louganis. Ellen DeGenerate. It's like Anthony Weiner. Like these names. I think there's a whole subconscious things with names, especially like the guy who started the Federal Reserve was named Warburg. They just Spielberg, Steven Spielberg. A spiel is like a bullshit pitch. It's like someone spinning fables. And so like it's like leprechaun rules. Like they tell you what they are. It's like my name's Foreskin Pornoberg. Because if you say what you are, Alan Greenspan to span the green. It's like. Then there's a form of consent, and then the manipulation can build.
Diabolical.
And hold on, because this is why I wanted you to sort of lay it down for Drew, because I see the aftermath of those type of manipulations more concentrated in people that live in cities.
Yes.
I don't know why that is exactly, but like I've actually had a few conversations, not only with Drew, but with Drew and some other people where it's like they just accept it without questioning it and they repeat it to you. And when like if you learn it as if like reading your book or hearing you speak, you can kind of pick up on it and you try to point it out to them. And it's almost like you're hitting up against a wall. Like you can't explain it to them well enough. The programming is so dense that you say, I belong to the state of New York, is what I've heard people say. And I'm like, you do not belong to the state of New York. What do you mean? But I mean, it's innocent in the moment. Like they don't know that what they're saying is something that they heard, they've accepted it, now they're repeating it back. And they belong to the state of New York now in their mind and now probably in their body because this is how they feel. So like the perception turns into the reality. And when you try to say that to somebody, it is astounding. And just one more quick example of that is we were speaking, I have a friend of mine that's a gun rights attorney, and just the way that he speaks about how the system works when you're in a courtroom about trying to get somebody their gun rights back. You cannot cite the Second Amendment in a courtroom because of that type of programming. Like you can't say the reason why this person should be allowed is because Second Amendment. They along with other things obviously, but you can't cite it at all because that type of programming has stopped them from allowing that. And you can't, because I said to him like, the Second Amendment is written to stop the government from making these rules, and you can't cite them that rule. This is sort of like the programming that I'm saying, like where it's like this.
Well, that's
it's
why
so
I
strong.
see it because it's all comedically written. It's a dark comedy, but like what you just explained is a joke, right? It's like so the law is to keep them in check, but you can't say it to the government. Like that's a joke. Like that's like punked. It's like a bit. And so that's why I was like, I want to write that movie of Synap where it's all like the devil is like a form of a comedian and it's all about humiliating people without them knowing it. And so that's why I think I can see the setup and punchline just because I'm trained in comedy. But yeah, as far as cities, I think it's because of the detachment, like because there's not really a base they're operating from. So there's so many layers of fabrication. So it's a form of logical insanity where in this given like the unnatural position to be in a place where there's so many people and nobody knows each other. Like people are just walking by each other, stepping over homeless people. It's just like very dehumanized. Like a gun to me is so much different than a gun in like Manhattan. Like to me, like there's no way I wouldn't have a gun. It's like you have to be able to protect your livestock, protect your family. Like when I see another human being, that's a blessing. But if you're in a city, they start getting into abortion and like they're afraid of guns, and racism is the worst thing of all time because there's so many races interacting at all times that they can't even imagine that. It'd be like throwing a shank into a Supermax. And that's a very unnatural way to live, because the word kind comes from kin. It's like, the idea that like racism is like a superiority thing is not it. It's just kind of like, do you know someone else's customs? Do you feel comfortable? Do you know what would be a threatening pose, right? Like think about how much more energy you have to put in if you're at a Japanese person's house. You have to think about like, where do you take the shoes off? Like, am I supposed to bow? Like, what is the little tree? Like, do I compliment the little tree? It's just about exhaustion, And so when you're around whatever you consider your people, you know that you're not going to piss anyone off accidentally because you said something wrong that offended that, you know what I mean? And so that's why cities they have these paranoias, about like racism, and then that don't take away our abortion. A gun is the worst thing ever. And then they're always giving away agency too. It's like that a gun shot someone, a gun killed someone, not them. It's always the object. It's always the external. I belong to the state of New York,
I don't think people are supposed to live piled on top of each other. I just
No,
don't think. I think that's part of the problem is that there's something there where like when you and it becomes like because you can see the problem more concentrated, just like everything you were describing, when you're in a place where people are piled on top of each other, and the wanting to be accepted by the crowd is, I think, part of like what happens where there's so many people and everyone is in their own space and no one really likes each other, but they do want to be liked by everybody. And so that at the same time, they're just whatever the narrative is what they tend to go along with, and it becomes ingrained. At least from what I can tell, is that it's unnatural in the beginning to be stacked on top of each other, and then to try to find a cohesiveness of the environment is like whatever the narrative is the one we go with, no matter how ridiculous it is. I mean, where did you see the most vaccinations? Where did you see the most masks? Where do you see the most abortions? Why are they so scared of guns? It's like there's this cohesive, you want to belong and be in the group. And if that's the narrative, no matter how stupid it is, then you'll just go and do it. I mean, a gun is a tool. It's just a tool.
Exactly. Same with the word. There's no way that there's a like a word can be hate. It's all context and intention. A word is like a color. It's not. It requires human consciousness. And what you're describing is right on the money. They're almost acting like insects, like a swarm, where it's like the survival and their security is based on fitting in and not standing out, because as a group, it has to stay coherent. And so in a way, they're behaving logically in an insane environment.
Yeah.
Because when you're piled on top of each other, you think the world's overpopulated. You gotta like everybody's promiscuous. So a world without abortion to them that's not even possible. You like somebody could be out partying and hooking up and you don't even know who the dad is, and that's like normal. And so it's like, and then you have a baby in this environment. There's no food. Like you can't just grow your food. So it's like, that's another dependent, it's like, because the word faggot originally came from the bundle of sticks, and it was actually just about a burdensome person. I used to do a bit years ago about this, about how back in the agrarian days, like a homosexual was considered burdensome because they wouldn't have kids, so you wouldn't get any more farm labor. They were like whatever. So that was what that meant. And then in a city, a baby is viewed as the burdensome person, where it's like the baby's the faggot. You know, it's like, how can I possibly afford a baby? I'm in $300,000 debt. I'm paying $4,000 a month for a shoebox. I work in a cube where I don't even know if my job means anything. It's like, it's even worse for women in cities too. Like, it's a nightmare. They got a yoga mat. Like what you were saying, they're wearing these like revealing clothes. There's these like animals just pacing on like amphetamines, just like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And plus, plus cities are the places where you have the maximum toxic food, most medicated people as far as who's going to the clinic anytime their ass itches to get prescription drugs, no trees, more pollution, air pollution, water pollution, no nature. That all plays into the psychosis of a person. At least for me, I get anxiety where I'm like, I got to go like hike on a trail and spend like an hour with just listening to the birds and the wind moving through the trees, because all this, sirens and helicopters and people yelling and glass breaking and just hard pavement, it's just not natural. It's just it's counterproductive to the human psyche, I think.
Dude, think about it like as far as electricity. You're an electrician, so to ground something, like if someone says someone is grounded, like, oh, that dude's cool, he's grounded. I think it's literal. I think that especially like famous and rich people end up nuts. It's almost like they short circuit. Because imagine just all these amps and watts and shit are just getting flooded into somebody. And if they aren't literally grounded, like let's say they're in a building, they never touch the ground. Like their feet never touch the ground, they're not in nature. All that energy's down, they become literally psychotic. That's why like a Tucker Carlson is normal, because he's like, he hunts, he fishes, he's in nature, he like does carpentry. And these words are very real. Like to be grounded is important. That's why I toil max, because it's like when you're sweating and you're laboring and you're failing and you're succeeding, and that type of shit keeps you from that madness. In cities, it's like no one's grounded. They're literally like there's live wires and they're not being connected to the earth.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something more that people don't understand about what people living like that does. I don't know exactly what the answer would be to that, but you see the symptoms of the problem by everything we were just talking about. There's definitely something there, like that. There's no connection. It's just one of those things where like I can see the problem. I don't know exactly why that is a problem. I mean, I think the solution obviously would be don't live stacked on top of each other, but the idea that they think they have to is also part of the problem. Because when I went to move away and buy land, I can't express the amount of pushback that I got from friends and family about why. Like, why would you do that? And like even the money that I spent on it. Why wouldn't you just save your money? And I'm like, I could explain this to you about how money's losing its value rapidly and that this is going to be more than that. But like it just something that they could not comprehend. Like, and I think it's almost like there's I always see the meme, the clip of the guy talking about how it's from an older movie from like the 80s. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'm sure everyone has seen it at some point, like just the clip itself. But where the guy's explaining about how they built their own prisons. He wants to leave from the city, but he feels like he can't.
Dinner with Andre.
Thank you. Yes. And I think that's so accurate. I think it is. I think because you can see it, where it's like, you've been conditioned and you feel like you want to leave, but you can't. What good? You don't need walls in a prison if the prisoners don't feel like they can't leave anyway. I think that's part of it. I don't really know, but I mean, I wish I could express to you the time and time and time again that I got pushback when I moved out, bought my house with money, there's no debt, which honestly, dude, you helped put that idea in my head about not having debt. I didn't want to anyway, but just the idea that somebody else understood what I was thinking at the time just helped reinforce it. I bought a fixer-upper. It was like, here's cash. Sold, done.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing with my property, because they're not in the same place. They're a little bit apart from each other. But I did the same thing with my property, where it's like cash. And if I can't pay for it, then I don't want it. Like if I don't have it, then I don't want it. I seen what they did during COVID, and I'm not falling into that trap where it's like you have to take this thing or you can't go to work, and if you can't go to work, then you can't pay for that thing that you already are so indebted to. It's another one of those prison wall trap. You don't need the walls if you feel like you're already trapped. You're gonna do the things. You're gonna stay and do what you need to do.
And limitations is what makes being a human fun. You know, it's like if you have that limitation, if I can't afford it, I can't buy it. Well, now you're living with your kids in a barn for 2.5 years, like I did, or you're like figuring out how to get free shit from a high rise where people are just throwing it away, or the toil. Like that's where the life is, and then you're not susceptible to all these systems too. And then later in 10 years, everyone just thinks you're lucky,
Oh
because
yeah.
because you're looking at what has value. Like everybody, it's like the price of everything, but the value of nothing. Where people know the price. Oh, but how much is it? How many dollars? And it's like, no, but what is it? Like, what is it? And this is something interesting that happened to me. I used to think there was more of a conspiracy against me because people like, Joe Rogan and all these guys would act like I went insane. They'd be like, oh, he took a dark path. He went nuts. Like that dude went nuts. And I knew I was like, I know I didn't. So there's a lot, like, why are you guys lying? I think they think that because if you have the mentality of get dollars at all costs, like dollars, fame, right? And you're seeing someone like me, like going after something that isn't that. And it's not that I don't, need to make a living or I'm not like, I don't care about value or building wealth for the family, all that. But like, I was willing to like let go of $1 for something else. And they literally think that's crazy. They think that everything's a manipulation, like everything's a branding move. And so they're looking at me and they're just like, that dude has lost his mind because their baseline motivators are not mine. And I feel like you have the same experience where people, they couldn't understand it. They're like, no, but you'll get more dollars if you stay here. And you're like, what don't you understand? Like life is more than dollars. And that's why the original saying wasn't money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So it's like where you're willing to do anything for money, money's supposed to be fluid, and talk about spells. Like if you look at the fiat currency, current, your frozen assets, you're above water, the banks of a river, cash flow, it's all about water. It's trying to mimic the natural world of movement of water. And it's not water. It's a piece of paper, And so if you can see it for what it is, and it's not like I'm against money, but it isn't the point of life. And so if you're operating on those fundamentals, people will literally think you're a crazy person. Like they're like, dude, you can just buy milk. Like you can just buy eggs. Sometimes people are like, why don't you hire someone? Because I'll have periods of time where I do okay. And they're like, why don't you hire someone to do your milk? I'm like, it's mine though. Like, you want me to hire someone to like take my wife out for a date? Like, no, that's my cow. Like the point is to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%. And I mean, and there's another like small twist to that I appreciate, I think more than most of those people could, is that when you're putting in the work nonstop, because I'll just explain real quick. The first half of my life, I told you I grew up in Pittsburgh. I was not, let's just say, a good person, right? Like I grew up in an environment where I was abandoned and neglected as a young child, and the streets raised me, and I did a lot of crazy stuff that I am profoundly ashamed of at this point. I
You can
can't.
let that shame go though. I think it's important to let shame go.
I do, but here's the way I often describe it, because it's like when I look back now, it's almost like it's unbelievable. I know that I participated in it, but I can't believe it. Does that make sense? Like because
Yeah.
I can't see myself ever doing that before. But I'm saying all that because it's such a difference where now that I knew I wasted the first half of my life on bullshit, I changed things. The easiest way for me to explain this is that I knew I wasted so much time that I had to make up for it by putting in the work now. And I work my ass off. Drew can attest to that. I am non-stop working. If I'm not at my 9 to 5, I am working on the farm. nonstop. I might have an hour a night where I relax and like I get my children and my wife involved while we're working as much as I can for the family time. But it just felt like there was so much wasted time that I have to do it now. We have to do it now, especially with the world the way that it is, the food the way that it is, society the way that it is. It's like I have to build my own little bubble. But I'm saying that because the when I keep my head down and I'm plugging away, I'm not even paying attention to how much I got done. Periodically, I pop my head up and I'm like, wow, like, that building over there with my bare hands, nobody else. This entire field right here that was forest by hand, nobody else. Taking the trees down and chopping them up originally with a chainsaw before I got my lumber mill and making lumber out of the trees. Like, these are things that people don't do. You know what I mean? And like designing it, experimenting. Solar, it's all completely off grid. Solar, I didn't know anything about solar. Being an electrician doesn't mean you know everything about electricity. There's just different facets to everything. I didn't know anything about it. I taught myself everything coming from the city. And when you pop your head back up every once in a while and you go, wow. I mean, like we crushed it, but get back to work. And then you're right back to work. And there's something about that I don't think you can relate to people that don't want to put in any work at all. They're all just, I'm going to make my money.
Externalized. That's why you can look back at yourself and be like, who the fuck was that guy? Because you were externalizing so much at the time. And someone in your chat, you have a cool chat, by the way, a lot of funny shit. But someone said, someone said about shame, like you can let go of the shame, just don't be proud of it. And I only said that because you're clearly not proud of it. In fact, because I've went through similar things where it's like, not only are you not proud of it, it's like horrifying. But if you hold that shame, it can be detrimental. So that's why that's what I meant by let go of the shame. It doesn't mean like think it's cool, but a lot of times when you look back and you're like, who the hell was, like, how was I doing that shit? It's because you weren't totally you, and so you were learning, which is why you shouldn't regret that time. But it's like, you're like defined by external shit. And so if the external impetus, just look at like a boot camp. Like they'll get you in a position where to get a stripe on a shoulder, just a random stripe, you'll run at a cannon. Like just, because you're externalizing. That is my morality. This guy with the whistle is like making the decisions for me. It's the same with being like pimps and hoes and shit. It's like, And so that's that out of body experience, and you made that effort to get back in your body, like to get back in the cockpit.
Let me give you a quick example of how far and how weird all this journey has been. This woman, Dina, your past made you who you are now, Stax. That was my probation officer at one point.
Awesome, that's awesome.
Like I'm still tight with her. She's cool. She's come on the show. She actually she's a really nice person, and it's just strange here. Like today, I'm talking to you on a podcast that I'm running, and by an old probation officer is in the comments. It's just, for me, it's surreal in the moment.
Like you're a living man. That's how it is. It's like you'll have these scenarios where you're like, what the fuck? How is this happening? It's because these event, like, because if you have faith like that, because a lot of people are like these control freaks that they have to be in control of everything and they know the best outcome for themselves. But if you're just kind of rolling with it and allowing things to happen and allowing yourself to struggle and to, learn about solar, then you can't imagine how cool adventures can be, like in the characters in your life and stuff,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, I mean, again, the learning, the process. Even when I was younger, a lot of people, it's intense, Owen. I don't want to get into it, but like it's intense.
Get into it. I'm not, my town was fucking crazy too. I get it.
I mean, it's nuts because, it's stuff that I don't say this lightly, but most people don't survive what I went through. That's just to try to simplify it. And I know.
Give me like a little story.
We grew up at the age of 12 and 13 and started stealing cars to take them to chop shops to get money. That was sort of the opening to the scenario. And then, I had two brothers that were friends of mine. We were all really tight. They were in a very similar situation with, barely having a home. You wanted to see, the reason dude, I was starving as a kid. I didn't even know. People would ask me all the time, "Did you eat?" And I never knew why everyone asked that. But when you look back, you kind of figure it out.
That's intense.
But so like you turn to the streets. First of all, your parents are never home. They're out drinking and drugging, and you never know if there's never food in the house, but you never know if the lights are gonna be on or if anything. You periodically come back to the house just to see if anyone's there because no one was ever gonna be there. But like you turn to the streets because you're starving. Like you won't buy your parents won't buy you clothes. They won't buy you shoes. Like you're growing out of stuff. You're sort of like getting picked on in school because like your shoes don't even fit you anymore, and it's a sad thing. But I started to say it because it made me who I am, and it's super intense, dude, because it's crazy that like a lot of the stuff that happened from there, we took those large sums of money and just started selling drugs. The Everyone I knew around me started smoking weed, and it was hard to get weed. And I knew people, and they knew that I was into stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you grew up in a city, you can understand what I'm getting at, where it's like, this dude does work. So, we can. The first time I ever got weed, like a large amount of weed, it was from a football coach. A youth football coach gave me a pound of weed and was like, "You're moving too much to come to me for every day to go, push it around." And was like, "Here, take this. Let me know when you make this much from it. I'll come pick up the money." This started a chain reaction of events where like I had more money than I knew what to do with, and we sold anything that could make money. We were young, and like I'm talking about, this isn't like early teenage years. Like this, it's crazy. And then you start to see things around you where if you have money, people want it. What are you going to do to keep it, to get people to stop from stealing from you or trying to steal from you? They have to be more afraid of you than you are of them, right? So, I mean, now you have to do things. You have to do things that people will recognize you did
Right.
and be like, well, I don't really want to cross that line because he might do that
That's the
thing. That he
line,
does.
isn't it? Isn't it?
So, I
Yeah.
mean, you maintain that for years. Like, you do that stuff for years. And it's like, obviously at some point you start using drugs too, so like then it also takes a whole other turn, and it's just so dark. And like I've seen people get shot. Like, I mean, I've seen people like run into people's houses and rob them blind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, duffel bags full of weed and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm saying that this is just like stuff that I can tell you about. It's
No, totally.
really,
No, I get what you're saying. I get it.
really,
Yeah.
really intense. And I say that only because, and again, I am horrified by it today. I don't like it at all. I'm only explaining a little bit of it because you kind of asked. My intent at some point is to do some kind of life story with the show. Is that like, maybe not with me on the screen, but maybe just explaining the past. People that know me from my past know that they keep saying all the time, even my attorney friends, like, you should write a book. You need to write a book about all this stuff. But I mean, I was saying all of that.
Why do people keep asking me if I'm starving?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you get like the neighbor dude would just come over and give you a sandwich, and you're like, okay. You know what I mean? But,
That's what I mean. You're in logical insanity. It's like in your environment, those things made sense. If you're not providing for yourself, and then you get predatory, and then it's like either you have control or you're being controlled. Like you're in that jungle dynamic. It's just interesting how that the violence comes. That's so true. Like when you have shit and you have to like set a precedent or else everyone would walk all over you. And then that's when things can really take a dark turn.
yeah, yeah. And it's one of the reasons also because it's environmental on top of everything else. I know what happens in those cities. I know. A matter of fact, it's the neighborhood that I grew up in. It's sort of been gentrified in a way now, where they came in and kind of bought it up. But I was in there talking to people, and I'm like, if you were walking down this street when we were younger, you would get snatched and drug in that alleyway over there, and you would be asked who you know. And if you don't have the right answer, you might be naked by the time they're done with you. Like they're gonna just take everything, humiliate you.
Headline in the improv, like I'm doing stand up this week. It's funny, like if you're not in that realm, you can kind of day walk. Because I've been in some horrifying neighborhoods, and it's almost like it's almost like if you're, I don't know, it's weird. It's like Lord of the Rings, where if you're not wearing the ring, they don't really see you. It's weird.
But I mean, plus there's the other. It's very strange because you're right. Like a mark doesn't realize they're a mark. Some people are just passersby, but there's something about the mark that shines like a light in the night, and you're like,
Yeah. Well, I think it's a combination of having shit and looking weak. I'm a giant and I look poor, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm not a mark. Like it's like there's this giant fucking guy, I only wear clothes from like, thrift stores and shit, and I'm not acting like I'm a threat to anybody. Like it just no one gives a fuck. But if you're small and weak looking and you have like an expensive watch, it's like that's it. Like people will now look at you because you're easy and you have shit.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's an animal instinct too, on top of that as well, because you get huge predators that don't take huge risks, even though they'll probably pay off. Because if they get injured, right, there's no
Exactly,
hospital,
dude.
So, like,
Exactly.
yeah, you're exactly right. If you're 6'8", and don't look like you're carrying much, it's
It's like
like,
that in nature. There's no lies in nature. Like a mountain lion, a fucking moose with a calf is way more dangerous than a mountain lion. A mountain lion, if they sprain their ankle, they're pretty fucked. Like they'll kill you and eat you if it's a sure thing. Like if you're running away, they'll go, but they're not. They're solo hunters. Like they don't want any of that risk. Imagine somebody's got 2 strikes. They're a heavy hitter. They're not going to take a fucking unnecessary risk for something stupid.
no, no. And that's not to keep droning on about that particular thing, but that's the other thing, is that you tend to employ younger people as you get older. You know what I mean? And those are the guys that typically do more of the dirty work, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Run this over there, grab that guy, do that. Like it's part of it. It's
Liability shields. It's so funny how high finance is exactly like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're sort of on a time crunch here, and I didn't want to go too long with you. I appreciate you spending time with us. I really appreciate it for whatever
I
it's
love
worth.
this convo. You're an interesting fucking guy. That's why in the beginning when you're like, oh, you just did Tucker and Sneeko, now you're here with me. I'd rather talk like no for me, celebrity isn't really a factor. It's like you're an electrician. I have so many questions just about fucking electricity. You know how to get free copper, and your life story's amazing, and you're like building something for your family. It's like living people is where it's at. And fortunately, sometimes, I really enjoy Tucker Carlson because he's like a living guy too. It's like you can be famous and a living guy, but a lot of famous people aren't like living dudes. You can like predict every fucking thing they're going to say,
What's your feel on him, dude? Because I mean, I get, there's always the CIA implications, but like I watch his show. Obviously, I watched the show you were on with him, and he seems to me that like he's honest, or he's really good at pretending that he's honest.
He's definitely honest. I mean, I had a long, like a 5-hour dinner with him and his brother. And it's like, you can see patterns where he just says what he's thinking about. And and he's very he'll admit if he's wrong, and he's very upfront about his weaknesses. And he's just like giddy, gets pumped. He reminds me a lot of like a golden retriever dog that like gets real brooding and kind of like can really focus on the Jews.
I like it. I like it. I'm glad that you went on and talked to him in that way. I found that whole thing. I think it was Top that got the ball rolling. Is that right? Top.
Yeah. No, Top's the man. He connected me with Buckley and Top's a good dude.
The whole chain of events. I'm watching it on Twitter, and I'm like, holy shit, Owen's gonna go on Tucker. That's gonna be fucking wild.
Yeah, and it was such a fucking good convo because I feel like we brought something to each other. Like I was like super optimistic, even though I'd been through a lot of shit. Like, my cancellation story is so nuts it doesn't even sound real. Because so many people lie about that shit now, and they pretend that, I was canceled. Woe is me. Like it's that victim mentality. Like my story's fucking insane. I was kicked off QuickBooks. It's like I was on a sitcom in Hollywood, and I was the first blue check mark kicked off, and like my the things that they claim I did are, looking back, they all came true, and they're like harmless jokes. And so the fact I wasn't victimy about it, and I see my life as a blessing, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where I got kicked out of a gay bar. Like I can't fathom how good my life is given my upbringing and what I thought my life was going to be like. And I think that was good for him, because he, he can have the weight of the world on his shoulders sometimes. It's cool to just like laugh about shit, you know?
They say you gotta, to make the steel hard, you gotta put it in the fire, and that's what I often say about my past when people are like, "Man, that's terrible." The people that know me, and I'm like, it's what had to happen, because I don't know that I could be who I am today if I didn't go through that. But touching on that, let me tell you that, and like the there is a love and hatred for you out there, and I don't understand the hatred. And I thought, if you don't mind, especially for people in my audience that may be more on like the normie side, some of them, would you mind, like, real quick, just saying, I really don't want to keep you long. I'm trying to be respectful, but I thought it might be important to explain, like, where, like, you were in Hollywood and you said no to the transing kids thing, correct? And then
I wanted to get family out of the city too. Like I like, my motto was family first, and it's like I wanted my sons to know their cousins, and I just wanted that life, like a real life. And I could still operate and, get development deals and tour and all that out of Hollywood. But being out of Hollywood, I also got to see the world a lot clearer. And as far as people hating me, I understand why that happens. It's like just the nature of what I do. When you touch on a sacred cow and someone isn't willing to address what you said, and it's like, especially if it's very simple, like, like, for example, left-wing friends in Hollywood that say, "Oh, you're born gay." And if you just say something like, "So you think that there are gay babies?" Like a question like that, where it's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, so there's a baby is gay." Like, if you're born gay, like that there's a gay baby, and you just kind of laugh, that will fuck their head up so much, because you can't really get around that. Like, once you have gay baby in your head, you're like, "Oh, there's probably a lot of other factors." At that point, either they address it or I'm evil, right? Because it's an identity trap. So, like, let's say your whole identity is NASA and going to the moon or some shit, and I'm just having a blast making fun of it, and I bring up some points that are obviously shady, right? It's the identity trap. At that point, you're either either I am right and you have to rethink something, or my purpose is evil. My agenda is evil. Everything about me is nuts. Everything I say is a lie. And so that I see people go a little wacky just because, like, I'm effective at what I do. And I'm not even saying what is true or false. Like, I'm not even making big claims. For me, it's usually just these simple observations where you just ask a question. Caitlyn Jenner, Woman of the Year, but hasn't been a woman for a whole year. Like, that joke I did way before Chappelle, that was a crusher. Like, when it came to just piercing that spell, like, you're nominating someone as Woman of the Year and has not, even according to you, been a woman for one calendar year. Like, isn't that disqualifying? And so that question, people are like, okay, either, I had a very high level intellectual guy. We're going back and forth, and it's one of these really, really hot topics, when it comes to, like, the earth and, the cosmos and all this stuff. And at one point he said, "If you're right, my entire life was pointless." He's like, "I went to Harvard. I have all these degrees." He's like, and I go, "No, it's not. That's what science is. Science is, like, pursuing and learning." And that's the difference between a living man and one of these, like, NPC types, is because they're defined by the external. It's the whole joke of the Wizard of Oz. Like, you're now brave because I gave you a medal. You're now smart because I put a square in your head, And so that will develop this vicious hatred against me. And I understand it now. And I actually feel for these people. Like Harrison Smith, I go on Tucker and he tweets, "I've never known anyone to be more evil and lie more than Owen Benjamin. Everything about him is pure evil. He's the most evil. And I'm like, dude, in the year of Jeffrey Epstein, you're saying that I'm the most. And so what it was is I wanted the Israel AIPAC shit on Alex Jones. And then him and Alex said that I was an anti-Semite and I was toxic and all this stuff. And then they all flipped. Me and Alex are cool, but like that embarrassed little Harrison, you know? And so I was saying this shit before. He did the whole thing. He felt embarrassed. And so now he either owns up to it or I'm the most evil man in the world. And I debated him on the moon landing. And I had him so cornered that by the end, his only argument was, well, what does it matter if we went anyway? So at that point, he has options. He can either reassess his identity in his little pajamas that he wears to bed every night, or I'm now the devil. Right? Like, and dude, I watch it over and over again where people are like, okay, you now are the evil man. Like Eric Weinstein said that I was, publicly, I was the working man's genius and really was saying all these great things about me. And then I started, pointing out the Sackler family or AIPAC or some shit. And so he can't be wrong about me. Like he can't say, oh, maybe Owen's just not smart. Like maybe I was wrong. No, a narcissist is never wrong. So I went down an evil road, right? So they can't even just say like, oh, I used to think he was funny. I don't think he's funny anymore. Or like, I thought Owen was one thing, but he's really kind of just a retard who just fucking builds stairs all day. Like he's a fucking retard, right? They can't do that. They have to go, he's evil, because if not, I'm wrong. And I'm not wrong. I'm a narcissist, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's, I think, I'm trying to put this so that most people would understand it. Because there's a point that, so like I do a show every once in a while with a friend of mine on Saturday mornings, and your name got brought up, and it's automatically associated with, didn't he do a land scam? And I'm like, what do you know about what happened? And
Dude,
I'm like,
so stupid.
I know.
It's like, it's been, all right, like keep going. Well, no,
All right,
but
well, I mean, because I think it's worth addressing, because those guys may be watching actually, and just to kind of, because it's not worth beating it up.
I used to think that it was a misunderstanding and all I had to do was explain it. It's not. Because it's like, what scam? Like there is no scam. There's no money being made.
Right.
None of it. And the reason that people get so pissed is because it is the logical move if you're bitching about the fucking New World Order all day and you have promo codes to sell people bullshit. Like that's the whole thing, is because I'm, so many of these white guys, these like white nationalist types, when I'm like, why don't you guys have some kids? They now hate me for life, and they're like, we're being replaced. Fucking they're replacing us. I'm like, dude, you can make more white people with your dick. And dude, that will like make them so mad. They're like, oh, you fucking Jew. And I'm like, oh, it's because it's so true. It's so obvious. Like, dude, in order for your population to not be replaced, you have to have children. That means you have to talk to a woman. You have to be responsible. You can't just watch pornos all day long, and so they can't face that. So I don't need to ever talk about the land thing ever again. I have beaten that thing, and dude, I will be like, do you now understand? Like, I'll show you. It's public record. This happened. We just had a wedding there. We've had I've taped all these specials there. We got around Netflix. Look, these specials are being taped on land that people threw in $400 for. And not only do I not make money on, it's like what I do with my spare time. I spend my fucking money on it. And they're like, land scam. I'm like, oh, I see. Because you want to talk like the big boy that's going to, build a community. I fucking actually built a community. Like we have an app with thousands of people that actually share, positive things. And it's like, they don't want to heal. They want to be sick. And dude, they'll never admit that they just want to be sick. They want to be a victim.
Well, look, I was there from the beginning. I will never forget, as I watched this transpire, the show where you thought it up. And this was during COVID, and they were saying that we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. You weren't allowed. And it was like, well, why don't we build our own thing? And that blossomed into this thing. that like it was like, how do we do this? I'm not rich. It would be the same thing if I said, how do we get enough land to provide enough food for everybody that is going to be involved? It's the same thing. And people willingly send, I don't know what the scam is, to be honest,
There
but
is no
people
scam.
willingly,
No
that's what
scam.
I'm saying. I don't know
Yeah.
why anyone would say it without knowing anything about it, because they willingly sent something to buy something, to be a part of something. Where
'Cause
is the
I make
scam?
them feel bad. I make them feel
Yeah.
bad about themselves. $400 is the price of a Joe Rogan stand-up comedy ticket to see a little guy in a big shirt talk about getting his ass banged by an alien. Okay, so like that money went to buying a piece of land. Well, everyone's saying we'll never see someone's face again. We're being taken over by the New World Order. And I'm like, no, this is how they get you. It's actually the insurance companies are actually enforcing this. So if we got a patch of land, you know, you were there. And so, and it worked. And we were having these meetups and people are weeping because they can see someone without a fucking mask on because there's no enforcement there because the enforcement was in the commercial realm. And I'll explain this shit to people and they're like, they're fucking jealous too. I'm
Yeah.
not a jealous person, so I don't even understand that feeling. Like if someone's crushing, I'm like, awesome. They are like, why isn't it my land? I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Do you understand the responsibility and the burden of ownership? You know, they're like, why? But mine, no. Isn't it what about me? It's like, what? I like with my status, I burned a lot of it because people then are like, but me. And don't get me wrong, I could be a dick sometimes. Like there was times when I'm like, you know, I'm just like, just shut the fuck up. Like I understand why people could think that I was being a dick because I was under a lot of pressure. But there is no financial benefit whatsoever to, but now you own the land. So what does that mean? Am I going to sell it and buy lubricants for my ass? Like I'm not in their world. Like their world is consumption and depravity. And so there's no way to make that work. You know what I mean?
I mean, and again, what other avenue is there? Because there isn't. There isn't another avenue. You have to put it in a person's name. What are you going to do? Have a trust with 10,000 people in it?
Any one person could destroy it. And who gives a fuck anyway? It's like not even that. I know it might be nice. It's
Yeah,
not
I was
even
going to say
much
that.
money. It's not even that much money given what people make in entertainment, like at all. Like I don't know why these other people aren't doing this. Like it's like they just spend money on bullshit, and it's like then people are like, so when can I go? I've never turned down a single donor for camping ever once. Then this I don't even want to get into this other thing, but it's now public record. You can see like you know these people, they get obsessive, and this one guy wanted to drag it out into a lawsuit situation. He wasn't even a fucking donor. I had paid him. I'm not getting into the details now, but if you watch that deposition, you will watch like people are like would comment, I've never seen anyone lie like that. Like that was insane. No evidence of any claim. It's like, oh, he's a scammer. He hurts so many people. Who? Too many to name. Just name one. Oh, I mean, so many. One name. Oh, his cult will go after them if we name anybody. Okay, so no, you legally, like in a deposition, they legally have to name it. And then he'd be like, oh, there isn't, I mean, nobody. There's no, like, in order to have a crime, you have to have a victim. You have to have like, so who's complaining, right? Like, who's mad? It's like, oh, so many. I mean, you hurt people, man. You hurt so many. Who? How do I remedy it? It's kind of like those crazy women that do that where it's like, I'm mad. Well, what can I do? There's nothing you can do. I just now am going to just be angry. Well, what did I do and what can I do to help?
So
even
I'll
you
just
saying that makes me even angrier. You know, it's like
I know
crazy.
I really didn't want to set you off, but I thought it would work. I thought it would be worth at least because I know some of them are going to see this. And let me just
But
summarize from my perspective.
It won't help these people. They'll be like, says the lying gay boy. Dude, like they don't matter. Like, dude, that was like the biggest thing that I learned over the years. Is it just like there's no meeting of the minds because you're not functioning with the same base principles. You know what I mean?
Right. So this is what I mean about I can see the pattern of what happened from the outside perspective. You deal with a lot, and so like seeing it from where I've seen it from, I could see what happened. There were people that were mad and were jealous and were angry that they couldn't do it, and they started to put out these narratives, and
Yes.
those narratives sunk into different realms of the internet, and now there's people that they don't know you or they have some kind of beef with you. They don't know any specifics about it, and they repeat it, and then it continues in that way. And that's how this thing is still a thing. Where like I was surprised that anybody even said anything
Well, see, but
about
that's
it.
what makes them questionable characters that I don't want anything to do with. It's like, so if you have somebody that's explained it hundreds of times and you don't actually have a coherent narrative, and the people putting out the narrative have humiliated themselves, why do they care? Like, there's no reason for it. And so, bearing false witness and just doing that shit and claiming that someone is a thief, is a liar, like all these things. It's like, not only without any evidence, some realm picked up on this story because they want to demonize somebody because they brought up solutions. I'm all set, and I've been around long enough now. I just turned 46, where those people, nothing happens. Like, there is no, our enemies really are not flesh and blood. They just kind of meander off, and then you see them 8 years later, and they're just like, it's like they have all these other problems now because they're doing that to everyone in their life. It's not just me. Like, you think the thing that I like to do the best is just to fucking detach, just walk away from it. There's no like way
Yeah.
to remedy that.
Yeah, there must be nicers. It's a running joke with me and my wife because her sister will say it from time to time. Oh, must be nice. Like I love that because it encapsulate the people. Like as soon as you say it, I know kind of who you are now. Must be nice. It's like yeah, well, it was because I put a ton of work into it. It is pretty nice now.
It might be nice.
But I want to I figured we touch on that. I just want to say this. Out of that blossomed a fabulous, outstanding group of people in a community that I don't think is paralleled anywhere else that I've ever seen. And like you said, you got your apps, Ladle.tv and Bertoria Times, which is Bertoria Times is great. Like if you're tired of seeing the bullshit on Instagram or Facebook or whatever bullshit's app you're on, the good, the true, and the beautiful is on Bertoria Times, and it's censored in a good way where your bullshit doesn't get in. You only get to see the good stuff, what people are doing, they're building, they're crushing, and it's worth. Out of that, you're going to get people that are going to try to be like, must be nice, but fuck them, right? Because you built something great out of that.
And they bitch all the time about Facebook and, oh, it's just a slop show, goy slop. Everyone's an NPC, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you can go here. Oh, I have to
Yeah.
pay $15 for an entire year and there's no data collection or ads. That's like around $1 a month. So, yeah, you just spent $8 on fucking menthol cigarettes. It's like, it might be not. They don't want to heal. They want to bitch. They want to be mad. And I never understood that because I'm like fun to be around. I'm like a fun dude.
Yeah.
I would never be like, let's sit around and pretend we're menstruating. It's like, what? It's like, we just are going to be on the reg, but we're guys. Like, what the fuck? Dude, all my friends were awesome. Like we were like fun. Like, you don't just sit around being like, might be nice. I don't even have a penis. It's just so dumb. It's gay. It's like they're all gay.
I mean, essentially, that's what it comes down to. Is that like if you can't recognize it for what it is, then I think you are acting pretty gay. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, gay.
there's nothing bad about what I've seen transpire, and I've been around, like I've seen it. I see a tremendous group of people trying to help each other.
No, yeah, but see, look at this. You have the scum of the earth has already gotten you in a position where you're defending literally one of the cooler stories that's come out of the internet in the last 20 years, where, my life story is pretty fucking interesting. And so it's like, so now we're trying to, like, this is wizard shit. It's like you get to a position where you're like, No, I didn't do what you accuse me of. Look here, look. And the scum of the earth, these are people, a lot of them are like sex offenders. They're like, if you saw them in person, you would be horrified. You know, some of these people are like just horrifying human beings. And they get people to like want to explain themselves. No, I'm a good person, I swear. Dude, meanwhile, these guys are just jacking it all day to fucking homeless runaways trying to get drug money on the fucking internet. Meanwhile, we're sitting here like, no, we could have used a trust, but fuck them. Like, they don't matter at all. Like, especially with what I think may be coming down the pipe, they're in for a fucking horrifying road. Might be nice.
Yeah. There's going to be groups of the must be nicers out there. I feel you for sure.
Shit. They won't be able to organize because they all hate each other.
Yeah,
It's like,
they're all going to be mad.
They'll be roving bands. No. They'll all start must be nicing each other and backstabbing each other. Like, they can't form a team. Like, they're horrible people. Like, they'll be like, oh, let's all hate Owen Benjamin. Might be nice. Yeah, what did he do to you? And then if I'm engaging, they're like, oh. If I just don't engage for a week, they all hate each other. They're like, it might be nice to be you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they're like scumbags.
Yeah. I mean, it's literal that's the way that I kind of see it, because I don't see any negative out of what I've seen transpire. And like I said, I've been around.
You don't ever need to explain it. It's like they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
At least they make it easy to identify themselves. It's the pieces of shit who hide and disguise themselves I worry about.
Dude,
just look for the must be nice.
Years trying to explain it to these people where I'm like, no, you can check any records. We can talk about it. You can come. Dude, look at this special we shot. It might be nice to make all the money. I gave it away for free. It might be nice. It's like when you catch that, like when they say something and you can show that not only is it not true, the opposite is true. Like, the opposite is true. And they're like, it might be nice. Like, they can't just be like, oh, I'm wrong. I was wrong. Because they're insane. Like, they are insane.
They're allergic to accountability.
Exactly.
Yes.
I know a lot of people like that. Men, women, young, old.
Totally.
No age. They're all over. It's very frustrating.
Well, let's get to. We've already kept Owen longer than he wanted to be here. Drew, did you have any questions for him? Because this is going to be a rare opportunity to ask him.
No, I'm just in awe. I'm happy I was able to participate today, and it was great meeting you and getting some, one-on-one here for the audience. And I'm just, thankful for your time.
I'll do this more often, man. This has been a great chat. I know
definitely got to get you back sometime.
I'm a little underslept, so I think I probably just ran that must be nice thing a little fucking hot. But,
Dude, listen.
I'm going to land the plane.
No.
I'm on no sleep. You don't want to know about my sleep schedule.
I'm with you.
Listen. The fact that you came on and said must be nice is outstanding. That's I'm telling you, dude. This is a big deal for me, because me and Drew just started doing this for fun not that long ago, and we've gotten some people on that I have been watching for a long time. I respect greatly, you obviously being one of them, and the fact that you're willing to come on here and speak with us, it's just awesome. And then, to get you to go on any type of rant, it was great.
Love it, man. Much love.
Hell yeah.
All right, so one more time, how to slay a wizard.
Yeah, ladle.tv. I actually have a special called Must Be Nice.
It's actually good. It's really good. You should go check it out. Bertaria Times, the good, the true, the beautiful. Was there anything else?
That's it, man. And just I do streams a lot. I haven't been as much lately, but because I'm at the land scam doing fucking 12 hours of manual labor every day.
It's crazy.
All right, peace, gentlemen.
All right, buddy. Dude. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I have to hit the applause. I cannot believe that transpired.
We did it. We accomplished it. It happened.
We did it. Well, I mean, we're still on. We could go for a couple more minutes. I can't believe he stayed as long as he did. That was great, though, dude. That was great. Um, Let me look through the chat real quick and see because I've seen a couple donations. Patrick, thank you. Appreciate it. This was a long time coming. Let me tell you guys real quick. Meat Cavern, thank you, buddy. Uh, must be nice. Pay attention to the must be nicers. When they say that unironically, keep your eye on them.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so well, I got a message from Owen. We've been trying to work this out. If you guys have been paying attention, we tried to get him on, and he got real busy. This was right before he went on Tucker. So I'm like, all right. And just think about that for a minute, right? Owen Benjamin coming off of being on Sneeko's show and Tucker's show. Do you know who Sneeko is,
I
Drew?
no, I do not. No.
He's a pretty big streamer. He's got a lot of viewers, a lot of subscribers, that type of guy. So we're going back and forth, and we had this day scheduled already, and he sends me a message around 5 o'clock my time, and he says, "Can we do it a little bit earlier?" And then it had Thursday written beside it, which I assume now was a typo or something. So I said, "Sure, like we'll push it back for a day, no big deal. We can do it a different time too." And he starts sending me messages as I'm getting into the shower. Uh, I'm pulling in now. And I'm like, it just makes me start. I'm just getting into the shower, naked, water's running. And he's like, I'm just getting to the house now. And I'm like, are we doing this now?
Yeah, crazy.
That was the fastest shower ever. I jumped in, washed up, ran down here, set up the stream, called Drew, and was like, are you ready? And Drew had
I
already had a
literally,
day.
I have three people coming to my house to do a session because it just worked out that we were going to be available tonight. Somebody called me, can I come through and do some work? I sent them away. They've been sitting at a diner a mile up the road waiting for me to finish this whole time. So, and I'm on no sleep. I've been going to bed at like 6:35, between 5 and 6:45 a.m. the last 9 days. So I'm beat. So I was looking at it like kind of like a break. And then, yeah, you hit me with it like, are you going to be ready in 10 minutes? And
JJ,
at a
dude, I think I
point,
might have missed this one. I appreciate the donation, dude. Big $20. Made me cry before Brother Bears helping out Hope. This is so great. Owen, Mama Jean, and this community have blessed me beyond belief in my business. jjsgardens.com. Go check that out. Dude, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I'm trying to scroll through to get to everybody. Drew, I know you got stuff to do. I just want to look through and say thank you to anybody that gave us some donations today.
yeah, let me take a peek. Hey, somebody, wait, who is this? Oh, S. Finks Bear, Drew, we know you're sleepy. No, literally, I'm on no sleep, and I was trying to play it off, but I'm pretty sure a couple of you caught my eyes getting real squinted. Yeah, so very accurate observation, and I appreciate everybody who threw some donations. Patrick Shouts, thank you. Meaty, Q Bertamo.
Was
Uh,
watching too, which is wild.
yeah. I want to make sure. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss some. Wow, we got a lot of. This is quite a comment
So a
section.
lot of comments.
Yeah,
Um, if
yeah.
I missed whoever might have sent, Tyranny sent 22. Son of a bitch.
Shout out to Forest Mommy. Thank you. She shouted us out earlier. Subliminal Messenger.
See, that's from my wife.
It's the guy. He's not gonna let me.
Uh,
Yo, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna go back and watch this episode, and I'm gonna sample. Well, that's how fucking tired I am. It must be nice, like in the voice he was doing. I'm gonna sample
yeah,
that. I'm gonna send it to you as a waiver in MP3, and you can like trigger it on your end
yeah,
as
do
like
that.
you can kind of drop in anytime you want to like comment it. That'll
Oh yeah, do
we'll,
that, do that.
we'll wear that one out till the wheels fall off.
Um, Real quick, while we got a second, I'm not sure if I should mention this, but I'm kind of excited about this one too because I think it'll be fun. But Top has said he's interested in coming on as well. I actually think because you guys are from relatively the same area, that would make for a fun show too.
Do it.
So now that we got Owen on, I'm gonna see about getting Top scheduled. Hopefully, he's still open to coming on because that would be fun.
All right, yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
Listen, guys, I really appreciate everybody watching. Uh, Share, like it, all that stuff helps. We are this close to getting the channel monetized on YouTube. This is for Drew and everybody, but we got into the creators program on Rumble, so uh, we could we could make this something real soon here. Maybe the production quality could get better. Uh, so we'll see how that goes. But watch it on YouTube if you can. The more watch hours that we get, the closer we get to being monetized, or at least have the opportunity to try to get monetized. I have videos that have 30,000 views on them. But before you get monetized, if those, after a year, all those fall off. So, like, I should have been monetized years ago, but there's videos that have 30,000, 18,000, 22,000 views on them, but they're over a year old. And if you don't get all that time in a year before they'll accept you into the creator program, it just drops off and you kind of got to start over. So if you watch the show on YouTube, it'll help push it a little bit. If you share it, it'll help push it. It actually told me for the first time ever about how many people were sharing the show. So, yeah, cool. All right, let's get out of here. I know you got stuff to do, and I got to get upstairs to discipline some kids, I think. They've been screaming the whole time.
Oh, all right, yeah,
All right.
got work to do. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Shit Show co-host on X, Luminary Mixdown on Instagram. Yeah, that's all I can remember at this moment.
Let's put JJ. I'm gonna try to add that in one of the comments after we put the show up. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. That was the Shit Show with Owen Benjamin.